Good afternoon, everyone. I, Sannidhi Milan Butch, on behalf of PRACOLearn, welcome you all to the webinar on Strategies and Guidelines to Crack Judicial Services Exam organized by PRACOLearn. PRACOLearn is the project of Saxena's and Kumar Law Chambers, which is a law firm established in the form of limited liability partnership, working in areas of legal consultancy, practical implication of law, and litigation in various fields along with paralegal services. PRACOLearn has a motto to holistically cover all practical aspects which are quite necessary in professional world. It imparts and focuses on practical learning of subjects and thus acts as a bridge that fills the gap between knowledge of both theory and practical aspects through its various courses. It is committed to train the students and spread the knowledge of practical implications and procedure which are used in daily routine by the professionals in law and in other fields as well, to make them accomplished professionals and to help them achieve various career goals. Coming to today's webinar, the distinguished speakers for today's webinar are Mr. Rajat Bansal and Mr. Syed Ubaid M. Mr. Rajat Bansal is an alumnus of Rajiv Gandhi National University of Law, Patiala. He has been to Boston, USA for parliamentary debate and also has been to Hong Kong for William C. William Moot Court and has been a meritorious student throughout his academic. Mr. Bansal joined the prosecution as Assistant Public Prosecutor in New Delhi in 2015 and faces double digits of criminal cases on a daily basis since then. Prior to joining the Department of Prosecution, NCT Delhi, he had been a practicing advocate in various courts and tribunals at Delhi NCR and Punjab and has almost 9 years of litigating experience in various matters till date. Mr. Syed Ubaid M has completed his BA LLB honors from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi and LLM from Kurukshetra University. He joined the prosecution as Assistant Public Prosecutor in New Delhi in 2015. Before joining the prosecution department, he has worked as an independent lawyer in district courts at Delhi NCR and at Delhi High Court. He has also worked for National Commission for Women. We welcome you, sir. Before beginning, I would like to request everyone to switch off their videos and keep their microphones on mute throughout the session so that there is no disturbance. However, you may drop or type your question in the chat box given during the session. The questions sent by the participants in advance as well as those asked in the chat box shall be addressed in the Q&A session towards the end. I would now like to invite Mr. Abhishek Saxena, co-founder at PRACOLearn and co-founding partner at Saxena's and Kumar Law Chambers, to introduce the topic. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sannidhi. Welcome to all the participants and our worthy guests, Mr. Syed Ubaid sir and Mr. Rajat Bansal. And before we start, I just want to give why we have started, why we have taken up this topic. What is the importance of this topic? This is actually one of the most important and demanding subject which every aspirant law graduate and every student wants to take up during the period of COVID outbreak. It is kind of a very important thing, so that whatever they want to do, they can study at home, and this is the best thing what you can actually achieve. It is also important to note that during this time there is no examination or any competitive examination has been held, which for this time you can also prepare for yourself for the upcoming examinations in 2021. So it's better to come up with practical strategies and guidelines. That is why we have our guest who has got their personal experiences in this field, and their experiences will be shared. Apart from that, there is a more important thing that we are going to launch classes on judicial services, and there is an upcoming workshop on family law litigation. The details regarding these two announcements will be at the end of the session, and in the announcement part after Q&A session. So we hope that all of us will stick to this webinar till the end, and you all will be benefited out of it. Thank you so much. Sanidhi, please carry on.
Thank you very much, sir. I would now like to invite our distinguished speakers, Mr. Syed and Mr. Bansal, to present their views on the topic and enlighten us. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir. Please check me.
Am I audible to you?
Yes. You're absolutely audible.
Mr. Bansal, are you there?
Yes, you can carry on, Mr. Abhis.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Abhishek, can you please forward the slides so that we can see?
See, the topic over here is how to stay motivated. The topic here is for judicial services examination preparation, and I hope all the participants must be law student or law graduate or practicing lawyers. So, what we have to see to crack the examination, to crack the judiciary exam, we are supposed to stick on few things so that हम ये कह सके कि कैसे कैसे हमारा एग्जाम क्रैक हो पाएगा. उसके लिए सीक्वेंस बाय सीक्वेंस आपको करना पड़ेगा. पहले जैसे कि अभिषेक ने अभी स्लाइड दिया है, इसमें स्लाइड्स में हम देखते हैं कि इसमें फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज कंसिस्टेंसी एंड पॉजिटिव साइकोलॉजी इज द की. मीनिंग टू से कि आपकी कंसिस्टेंसी बनी रहनी चाहिए. जब से आप शुरू करें तभी से, उसी टाइम से, उसी दिन से. ये जरूरी नहीं है कि आप इसमें देखें कि मुझे कितना टाइम लगेगा, कैसे होगा, क्या करूंगा मैं, या मुझे कब से शुरू करना है. उसमें कोई आपको कोई पर्टिकुलर टाइम सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है. यू मे बी इन फर्स्ट ईयर, यू मे बी इन सेकेंड ईयर और फाइनल ईयर, और अगर 5 ईयर लॉ में हैं आप तो भी 4th ईयर और 5 ईयर में हो, तो उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. बस कि आपको स्टार्ट करना है, और स्टार्ट आपको जहां से करना है वहीं से स्टार्ट कर देगा. दूसरी बात, डिग्री में क्या हो रहा है उससे नहीं फर्क पड़ता. आपने हो सकता है कि ग्रेजुएशन किसी और सब्जेक्ट में की हो, उसके बाद लॉ कर रहे हैं आप, तो लॉ ग्रेजुएट होना इसके लिए एक जो प्री कंडीशन है, लॉ ग्रेजुएट होने चाहिए. ये उन लोगों के लिए जो 3 ईयर लॉ वाले हैं. 5 ईयर लॉ के लिए तो कोई मैटर ही नहीं करता. 3 ईयर लॉ वालों के लिए ये लॉ ग्रेजुएट होना चाहिए, और उसमें मार्क्स भी बहुत ज्यादा मैटर नहीं करते उस वक्त पे. इसमें कोई मिनिमम एलिजिबिलिटी, मिनिमम क्राइटेरिया मार्क्स का नहीं होता है जुडिशियल सर्विसेज के एग्जाम्स के लिए. इसमें बस आपको हार्ड वर्क करना है. बजल साहब, यू प्लीज और एलोबरेट करते हैं इसको.
See, when you will see the consistency here means that you should be constant with your hard work. Whether you are in first year or you are in 5th year, it doesn't matter. Suppose you have given one exam of judicial services, but you didn't crack it. Again, you have given the second exam, again you didn't crack it. It doesn't mean if you have not cracked the exam once, twice, thrice, that you cannot crack it. You should be consistent with your hard work. You just had to see where you are lacking, what all lacunas are there in you, whether you are not practicing at home, whether you are not trying the sample question papers at home. All these things should be there in your mind. You should be positive with your views while preparing for any competitive examination, whether it is UPSC or judicial services. So consistency and positive psychology here means both should go side by side and simultaneously. You should be consistent. Either you are in 5th year or 4th year. You should not think about it that I am in 4th year. I have a very long time. Still, I have a much time. I can prepare after 1 year. I can start after 1 year. No, whenever you have thought about it, that yes, today is the day, and on very that day you should start working towards your goal. You should start study your law. What else you can do while doing your law? Suppose you are not graduated yet, you are in law school and you are pursuing your law. At that time, what can you do? Suppose they are teaching you CPC or they are teaching you CRPC. All those sections which they are teaching you, you should go in the depth of those sections. You should not think that you just have to pass in the examination of your law school. No, you have to think about it that either tomorrow or day after tomorrow or after an year, you have to sit in the examination, you have to appear in the examination to crack it. So your psychology should be like this. Now the other point is this: suppose you were an average student during your law school. Suppose you were getting 52% marks, 55% marks. It doesn't matter actually how many marks you were getting in your law school, because when you have to sit your judicial exam, you will see all the average students. Mostly you will see all the average students will clear these exams. So if you are not among the toppers, then you should not think about it that you cannot crack that exam. This exam is for you. This exam will see that whether you are consistent with your hard work, whether your psychology is positive. If your psychology is positive, you are constantly doing the hard work, then there is nothing which will come in your way to stop you to be a judge one day. Abhishek, I can't see the slides actually. I don't know what is the problem.
Just give me 1 minute. Let me cross check it.
I can see the slide.
Okay, you can continue, Mr. Ubaid. You can continue with the second
Okay.
slide, please.
Okay. See, here, the structure and pattern of the exam, the same shall be bifurcated in 3 stages. One is prelims exams, another is mains exams, and the third one will be interview or viva voce. So, now the question arises. See, my slide is okay with it. Mazza sahab?
I'm not able to see the slides.
Yes. Your slide is okay. That is visible, sir. Please carry on.
Can you? Yes, this slide. Thank you.
Is it visible, Raja sir? Slide is
No,
visible.
Mr. Abhishek, I'm not able to see the slides.
Anyways, sir, can you
And I will continue. I will continue with it. Let it be on next slide. See, 3 stages examination: prelims, mains, and interview. So for that we have to think upon how to start for this exam, and when to start for this exam, and what to start. Actually, what we have to do for this examination, and हम करेंगे क्या, so that we will be more guided by the system. जब तक हमें ये नहीं पता होगा कि हमें करना क्या है. See, here in preliminary examination, let's talk about preliminary examination. That is normally we say prelims or pre-examination. It's a screening cum rejection test. Screening cum rejection means you are supposed to qualify this only, then you will go into the mains exams. Unless you qualify this exam, you will not go to the mains exam. So you have to focus on the first stage, that is preliminary examination. So for that, you have to give your 100% for this examination. It's basically objective test. Objective means you must be given 3 options, 4 options, and somewhere 5 options. in few examinations, in few states, we find 5 answers, five uh, 5 objective are there. You have to choose one answer. 5 options are there. You have to choose one answer. So that is why it's objective test. Then screening means if you are not qualified in preliminary examination, you can never be in mains examination. It's fair. So it's screening cum rejection test. It means it's a rejection test, meaning to say if you are not qualified, then you will be rejected obviously. So it's a rejection test also. You qualified, then you are supposed to go through the mains examinations. For preliminary examinations, for objective type questions, there are 3 types of pattern. One is application based questions, second is theory based, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Please continue.
This application based, and the second one is theory based, and the third one is mixed based. Mixed based means to say where the questions will be application as well as theory. What is the meaning of application? Application means some problems will be given or some situation will be given, and you have to apply your mind what section is to be applied, what law to be applied on that particular question. So that will be application based question. And the theory based question will be simple questions where you are supposed to see the theory, you are supposed to see the content of law, you are supposed to see the sections of the law, you are supposed to see the base of the particular law. So that will be theory based. And the mixed base will be application and theory in those questions where both the things shall be applied, the theory as well as application of mind. So that will be considered as mixed base, meaning to say the application as well as theory is there. So that type of question will be mixed question. So 3 questions, one is application based, second one theory, and the third one is a mixture of both, that is mix. So how to crack this examination, how to crack the pre-examination. Here we are talking about the pre-examination, so we will specifically discuss about the prelims examination. So for that you have to read Bayer Act, cover to cover Bayer Act reading, Bayer Act memorization, reading and interpretation of sections, breaking of Bayer Act, breaking of sections. So here 4 things are there. So what is the meaning of cover to cover reading? Bansal Sahab, can you explain what is the meaning of this cover to cover?
Yes, thank you. Very well said by Mr. Syed. That you have to take care of all these things. This is a screening exam. It means either you have cracked out, or either you have cracked it out, or you have to go out of the exam. You cannot sit in the main examination. This is like a knockout round. Agar aap jeet gaye, so you are in for the mains. If you are out, then you are out. You cannot appear in the mains and interview. So, as Mr. Syed has very well said, that this is a multiple choice question. You can see 4 or 5 choices as per the different states. If you are appearing in Delhi, then like if there can be 4 options as well as there can be 5 options of one question. So now let's talk about how you can prepare for the prelim examination. So first and the foremost thing is, if you are picking up one subject, for example, you are picking up IPC, Indian Penal Code 1860. So first, you should always understand one thing. When you are going to appear in prelim examination, then you have to read the Bayer Act from cover to cover. Here, cover to cover reading doesn't mean that you will start from section 1 to section 500. It is not like that you have to read continuously all the sections. No, you can pick and choose the topics. Suppose you like to read murder, then you can read the murder and related sections first, then you can read the other sections. Suppose you are talking about CRPC. If you like the investigation part first, no issues. Then you can start with section 154. Then you can read the investigation chapter first, then the other chapters which are there in CRPC or IPC. The cover to cover here means you cannot leave any section unread while going to sit in the prelim examination. But you have to think about it, and while preparing you will come to know about it. Few sections are really important and few sections are very less important, so you have to give the weightage according to it. Now Direct, later on, Direct memorization, you have to memorize it, or you can say you have to cram it. I am using this word cramming. Yes, you have to cram few things. Let me give you an example. Section 14 of Indian Evidence Act. Sometimes you will see a question in the examination where they will ask you, out of these 4 words, which word is not used in section 14 of Indian Evidence Act? Whether goodwill, good faith, ill will, which word is not used out of these words? So if you are good at cramming, if you can cram those words, that there are 6 words in that section or 8 words in that section, if you can cram those words, then you can click or you can take the answer at that place. For an example, which all sections talk about conclusive proof in Indian Evidence Act? Like section 112 is talking about conclusive proof. Section 14 is talking, 41 is talking about conclusive proof in Indian Evidence Act. So if you have learned that which all 3 sections are there in Indian Evidence Act which talks about conclusive proof, then you can take that answer. Here comes the Direct memorization. So you have to memorize the Direct. You can read it again and again. When you have read one subject completely, don't think that you have memorized it. Always remember one thing, you should be consistent. Consistent here means if you have read it today, then after a week or after 10 days, you have to pick up that subject again to read it so that you can memorize that subject. So always go sequence by sequence. If you have started with the criminal law, then you can pick up IPC, CRPC, evidence. When you have completed all 3, then repeat them. But next time when you will repeat, if you have taken 4 days to complete one subject or 6 days to complete one subject, next time you will see you will take 2 days to complete that subject. Again, after 15 days, then you will again read that subject, then you will take only 24 hours to complete that subject. So this is what we call Direct memorization. It's reading and it's interpretation. So you are reading the subject, you are interpreting it, that what this section wants to say. You have to interpret it. Let me give you an example of section 34 of Indian Evidence Act. It talks about common intention. So how the interpretation will work here? When you will read that section or interpret this section, then you will come to know about it, that while doing the crime, your participation is very much important. If you are participating in the crime, then you can be charged under that section. If you are not participating in the crime, then you cannot charged in that section. So the question can be practical also, like they can ask you in which section participation is important or participation is required. Then if you know, if you have interpreted the section, then you can write down the correct answer. Otherwise, if you have just give it a reading, or you didn't give a good reading, or you didn't interpret the section properly, then you will not come to know about it in which section participation is required. So memorization, reading and its interpretation, and its constant reading after a few days also. Now after this, breaking of the Direct. What do you mean by the breaking of the Direct? As I have already explained you, breaking of the Direct means you have to see the index. What all chapters are there in it? you have to break the BEREC into different parts. Like chapter 1 talks about the applicability. Like chapter suppose any BEREC, like chapter 4 talks about this, chapter 6 talks about this. Then you have to pick up the chapter as per your interest. Which chapter do you want to read first? But remember, you have to read all the sections before sitting in the examination. Now the most important part is breaking of section. You will see the BERECs are really very technical. They are written in the technical language. They are written in the English language, no doubt, but that is not a simple English. So for this, we have taken up the example of section 76 Indian Penal Code. I request every participant to please read the section first. Let me read it for you. Act done by a person bound or by mistake of act, believing himself bound by law. Now, this is the main heading. Now, what section talks about? Nothing is an offense which is done by a person who is or who by reason of mistake of fact and not by reason of mistake of law in good faith. I'm unable to read the I'm unable to read the other part. What is written there? I think you can read.
Believe himself to be bound by law to do it. That is the complete. The section is complete.
So when you will see this, now let's break this section. When you will break this section, so what will be the first part in this? The first part will be, please read in the slide. Nothing is an offense which is done by a person who is. After is, you have to cut the entire line and just last 4 words, bound by law to do it. अब इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? कोई भी चीज ऑफेंस नहीं है. नथिंग इज एन ऑफेंस विच इज डन बाय ए पर्सन. जो भी आपने एक्ट किया, जिसको हम एक्टस रियस कहते हैं, जो भी आपने एक्ट किया वो क्राइम नहीं है. हु इज बाउंड बाय लॉ टू डू इट. अगर आप लॉ से बाउंड थे, एग्जाम्पल से क्लियर होगा आपको. इलस्ट्रेशन लिखी हुई है इसमें. ए is the name of the person. A soldier fires on a mob by the order of a superior officer in conformity with the commands of the law. A has committed no offense. अब क्या एग्जाम्पल कहती है? सैयद उबैद जो है, ये मेरे सीनियर हैं, इन्होंने मुझे कमांड दी कि मिस्टर बंसल, ये सामने मोब है, जो क्राउड है, इस पे आप गोली चला दीजिए. क्योंकि ये मेरे सीनियर हैं तो मुझे इनका ऑर्डर मानना पड़ेगा. तो मैंने इनका ऑर्डर माना और इनका ऑर्डर मानने के बाद मैंने क्या कर दिया? शूट कर दिया. उसमें सपोज 4 लोग मारे गए. सो now you tell me whether I am liable to kill those 4 persons or not. I am not liable to kill those 4 persons because I was bound by law to obey the order of my senior and I have done so. My senior can be liable for this, but I am not liable for this. So what is the second part of the section? Second part of the section is nothing is an offense which is done by a person. ये कॉमन रहेगा जितना मैं ऊपर बोल रहा हूं आपको. नथिंग इज एन ऑफेंस विच इज डन बाय ए पर्सन. आगे क्या लिखेंगे हम? जो सेकंड पार्ट में लिखा, हु बाय रीजन ऑफ मिस्टेक ऑफ एक्ट एंड नॉट बाय रीजन ऑफ मिस्टेक ऑफ लॉ इन गुड फेथ बिलीव्स हिमसेल्फ टू बी
bound by law to do it.
Bound by law to do it. इसकी इलस्ट्रेशन पढ़ेंगे. ए एन ऑफिसर ऑफ द कोर्ट ऑफ जस्टिस बीइंग ऑर्डर्ड बाय दैट कोर्ट टू अरेस्ट वाई. ऑफिसर ऑफ द कोर्ट मान के चलो यहाँ पे एनी पुलिस ऑफिसर. कोई पुलिस ऑफिसर को कोर्ट कहती है कि आपको वाई को अरेस्ट करना है. एंड आफ्टर ड्यू इंक्वायरी बिलीविंग जेड टू बी वाई. जब उसने इंक्वायरी करी उस जगह पे जाके, उस एड्रेस पे जाके, उसको लगा जो जेड है वही वाई है. जो भी उसने वहां इंक्वायरी करी, उसकी इंक्वायरी से क्या निकला कि जो जेड नाम का आदमी है वही वाई है. एंड वो जेड को अरेस्ट कर लेता है वाई की जगह पे. A has committed no offense. अब ये देखो यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, उसको कोर्ट ने ऑर्डर दिया वाई को अरेस्ट करने के लिए. वो वाई के एड्रेस पे गया. वाई के एड्रेस पे जाके जब उसने पता किया तो सपोज करो वहां पे 3 लोग थे. 3 लोगों ने पॉइंट आउट किया जेड की तरफ कि यही आदमी वाई है. तो उसने अपनी इंक्वायरी के बेस पे और उन लोगों की बातें सुनने के बाद उसने सोचा कि यही वाई होगा. तो वो उस जेड आदमी को वाई समझ के पकड़ के ले गया. गलती तो करी उसने, पर उसने कोई जानबूझ के गलती थोड़ी करी है, ठीक है? तो दैट वाज मिस्टेक ऑफ फैक्ट एंड नॉट बाय, दैट इज नॉट अ मिस्टेक ऑफ लॉ, दैट इज अ मिस्टेक ऑफ फैक्ट. तो वो लाइबल नहीं होगा जेड को अरेस्ट करने के लिए. सो यू हैव टू ब्रेक ऑल द सेक्शंस अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस थ्योरी, that what one section talks about, what one section wants to say. As we have already divided section 76 into two parts, so while reading the section, you have to see whether I can break this section into pieces or into different parts or not. If you can divide or you can break the section into different parts, then divide that section into parts and then learn it. That will be quite convenient for you to come to know about it. So now from section 76, I think you all have come to know that how to break the sections. So you have come to know about the Berect reading, Berect memorization, breaking of sections, index. Now the next part is the legal maxims. I think Mr. Ubaid, I think you should talk about it.
I hope you all must be knowing about the maxims. Maxims may be of any language, but here we are specifically talking about the legal maxims. For example, there is simple maxim, ubi just imi remedium, where there is a right, there is a remedy. So, ऐसे करके in legal field there are number of maxims are there. In prelims examinations, the maxims is given or one maxim is given, and the meaning of that maxim will be given in options 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever may be. So you have to choose the right answer, you have to choose the right meaning of maxim or the right maxim itself. Sometimes there's maxims are given, okay, what is the meaning of this maxim, or sometimes the situation is given and the use of the particular maxim. So you have to memorize the maxims as usual as you memorize in Hindi or English. हिंदी लैंग्वेज में जैसे मैक्सिम्स हुआ करते हैं, मुहावरे हुआ करते हैं, वैसे ही ये लीगल मैक्सिम्स हैं इंग्लिश में. इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज के मैक्सिम वैसे ही यहाँ पर ये लीगल मैक्सिम्स हैं. सो यू हैव टू मेमोराइज दोज मैक्सिम्स. नंबर ऑफ मैक्सिम्स आर देयर, number of books are there in which maxims are there. Sometimes there are specific books for maxims, sometimes on a net, on Google you can also search, and a few books are there in which specifically maxims are provided.
Sorry to interrupt, sir.
Sure.
Just want to add a few more things. I think legal maxims are subject to the syllabus of a particular state. For instance, legal maxims are very particular in Rajasthan Judicial Services. And
Absolutely right.
right, sir. Thank you so much. And I think in UP Judicial Services it is also, if I'm not wrong, please correct. If I'm wrong,
Right.
please- And well,
Right.
sir, can you please tell me, is it in the syllabus of Delhi Judicial Services?
See, where the question paper is theory based, there maxims are more required to be learned. But where the question paper, we will say the question paper is applied question paper. So in those states, the maxim are not as much as important.
Thank you so much, sir.
So for prelims, the next point is recent judgment. Yes, this slide. Thank you. Recent judgments and landmark judgments. As you may confuse yourself कि what is recent and what is landmark. So the recent judgment means the recently which are delivered by the Supreme Court or the concerned High Court. So those are the recent judgments, and the landmark judgments are those judgments which are of older nature, maybe 10 years, 20 years, or maybe 50 years, whatever may be. So the both types of judgments are supposed to be read and supposed to be learned. So judgment reading is also an art. You have to qualify that art also so that you can learn the judgment itself. Every judgment consists of keywords and head notes. The head notes are those notes which are given on the head on the beginning of the judgment. So specific words might be there so that we can identify the judgment, we can at least categorize the judgment on the basis of those head notes from that particular law, particular subject, particular section, or particular issue. Those things are given in the head note of every judgment so that we can identify the particular section, law, issue, or whatever may be. So these are the keywords or head notes. So how to break the judgments? Break the judgment means the judgment has two parts. One is factual parts and another is ratio part. In technical language, in legal maxims, we can say obiter dicta and ratio decidency. So the factual part is the facts of that particular case, and the ratio is the decision of the particular court. If it's for Supreme Court, then or it's for High Court, then also. So the ratio is the decision of the court and the finding of the court, and the fact is a factual scenario of the judgment. So what are the facts? Depends on each judgment. What is the ratio? Depends on each judgment. The ratio may be from one judgment to another judgment, but the facts will be unique for each judgment. And also this learn the date of enforcement or operation. There is also questions of such nature. What is the date of enforcement of that particular law, particular act rather we must say. For example, Limitation Act. So when the Limitation Act was enforced and when it was operated or came into operation. And important amendments. So number of amendments are there. Some constitutional amendments are there. Some statutory amendments are there. So for constitutional amendments, we have to see what amendments has been made by the Parliament for the Constitution. And statutory amendments, number of statutory amendments are there. For example, this 304 insertion. By what amendment and in which year 304 be of
Ubesh sir, can you please unmute yourself? Somebody has mistakenly mute your mic. Please
Okay.
do not do such kind of act during the presentation. Thank you.
anyway. So I have already told about important amendments, be it constitutional amendments, be it statutory amendments. Those amendments must be memorized. Those amendments must be sometimes some important amendments are there. For those we are also supposed to memorize the at least year in which year the said amendments was amended. For BEAR Act, Bansal Sahab has already thoroughly discussed about the memorization of BEAR Act, but one more thing I want to add this, how to memorize few important words from few different BEAR Acts, that is conclusive, evidence, may, shall. Meaning to say, you have to emphasize upon the spirit of that particular section. First act is there, then the sections of that particular act are there. So when we are memorizing one single section, so you have to pick particular word for a particular section. What will be the use of shall, what will be the use of may, what will be the conclusive evidence, and few keywords are there in every section. So you have to at least memorize those key words in a particular section. And for exam, time management and practice. Practice. See, the practice is an important aspect of every examination. The more you practice, the more you get the probability to crack the examination. जितना आप प्रैक्टिस करेंगे उतना ही आपकी उम्मीदें बढ़ जाएंगी एग्जाम क्लियर करने की, उतना ही आपको टाइम मैनेजमेंट अपने आप आता रहेगा कि जितना आप प्रैक्टिस करते रहेंगे। एक क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करने में या ऐसे समझे कि 100 क्वेश्चंस को सॉल्व करने में आपको 1 आवर लगता है, लेकिन अगर उसी को आप प्रैक्टिस में करते रहेंगे तो समटाइम्स इट विल टेक 55 मिनट्स, समटाइम्स इट विल टेक 50 मिनट्स और समटाइम्स इट विल टेक 45 मिनट्स. सो दैट विल बी द best thing. So time management and the practice of that particular paper is also very important. Negative marking. So few states are there where negative marking is there, और कुछ में नहीं भी है. Few states are there where no negative marking is there. For example, in MP, no negative marking. And in recent exams, negative markings are there. Delhi Judiciary नेगेटिव मार्किंग है, यूपी जुडिशरी नेगेटिव मार्किंग है. कुछ स्टेट्स हैं जहाँ पर नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं होती, लेकिन जहां पर नेगेटिव मार्किंग है आपको बहुत ही ज्यादा कॉन्शियस होना है कि आपको ये नहीं सोचना मैंने कितने क्वेश्चंस किए, आपको वहां पर ये सोचना है कि मैंने कितने सही क्वेश्चन किए, सो दैट आपको अपनी पेपर की जो वैल्यू है वो पता चल जाए. जहां पर खास तरीके से नेगेटिव मार्किंग है वहां पर आपको क्वेश्चन करते चलना है, फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड. जहां पर आपको लगे कि इसमें मुझे डाउट है, जस्ट लीव द क्वेश्चन, डोंट गो थ्रू द क्वेश्चन अगेन एंड अगेन. बार बार एक ही चीज पे वक्त ना लगाएं, खास तरीके से जहां पर आपको कंफ्यूजन है. अगर आप कंफर्म है गो अहेड, कंफर्म है गो अहेड. इफ यू आर कंफ्यूज गिव अ लिटिल टाइम, 1 2 3 4 मैक्सिमम 4 टाइम, रीड इट फॉर 4 टाइम्स. फिर भी नहीं आता है लीव इट, फिर उससे अगला, फिर उससे अगला, उससे अगला. Once you conclude your paper, meaning to say once you reach at 100 number, then जितने भी आपके left over questions हैं उनको दोबारा से आप फिर जाइए और वहां पर फिर दोबारा से कीजिए. और अगर आपको लगता है कि ये मेरे ठीक है, कुछ हो सकता है कि जहन में आ जाए जो पहले बार जहन में नहीं आ रही थी, तो आप उसको आंसर कीजिए. और अगर फिर भी नहीं आता है तो मत आंसर कीजिए. 100 तक जाने के बाद में आपको ये अंदाजा हो जाएगा कि मेरे कितने क्वेश्चन सही हो रहे हैं. और एवरी पेपर हैज अ सेट पैटर्न फॉर इट्स रिजल्ट. बंसल साहब और कुछ आप कहें प्रीलिम्स के बारे में और ऑब्जेक्टिव टाइप के बारे में, थोड़ा सा टाइम को देखते हुए, चूंकि ऑलरेडी शायद टाइम इज फ्लाइंग लाइक एनीथिंग.
Very well said by Mr. Ubaid. I would like to add few words or few lines in this. As we have already discussed the recent and the landmark judgments. Here, recent and the landmark judgment means the recent judgment means the recently passed by the Honorable High Court, concerned High Court in which state you are appearing the examination, or the Honorable Supreme Court. And if there is any particular judgment which is very much highlighted and which is from any other state also, that can also be concerned to you and that can also come in the examination. Any recent judgment you can come to know about it. Like a recent judgment has come which tells you about the guidelines for section 498A. As you all know, these days female or women are misusing section 406 498A regarding this dowry and harassment. So the particular guidelines are there for section 498A. In a judgment of a Rajesh Mishra something like this. This is a landmark judgment and this is a recent judgment also. And what about the landmark judgments? Like if you will read section 302, then you will come to know about the landmark judgment. R versus Govinda is the landmark judgment. See, that is a very old judgment and you have to remember those judgments. So there are a number of judgments you will come across it, which are landmark judgments, which has given a new face to the law. For example, if you will read anticipatory bail, then you will come to know about it. There is a judgment of Gurbaksh Singh Sibia versus State of Punjab that has been held by the Supreme Court, and that is a landmark judgment till today. If you will read the rape law, then you will come to know about Vishakha versus State of Rajasthan. That is a judgment which tells you that what law talks about and what security a woman can have at the workplace. So these all judgments are really old judgments, but these are landmark judgments. And what about recent judgments mean? Passed by the, which are recently passed by the Honorable any concerned High Court or Honorable Supreme Court. And all other sections like amendments, you have to learn the amendment and in which year section 304B is inserted, in which year section 498A is inserted, in which year the chapter of plea bargaining is inserted. All these amendments are really very important. You have to read them very carefully, because in each and every exam you will see the amendments will definitely come. Along with all other questions, the amendments will be there. As we have written in the slide, shall and may, this was particularly written for section. You can see when you will try any book of preliminary examination, then you will see section 113A and 113B of Indian Evidence Act, and usually you will see the question will come that in which section may word is used and in which section shall word is used. So you have to learn in which section may word is used and in which section shall word is used. And very well said by Mr. Ubaid, like you have to learn about the time management. You have to read the guidelines before appearing in the examination, means before opening your booklet, question booklet in the exam, you have to read the guidelines, whether the negative marking is 1/4 or whether the negative marking is 1/5 of the mark of the question. So you have to read all the guidelines. You have to practice a lot at your home before appearing in the examination. Do as much practice as you can so that you can improve your time, so that you can finish your exam at very well time or on a very good time. Let me explain you one more thing here. When you will try the exam, suppose in Delhi Judicial Services, the exam will be of 200 questions and you will get 2.5 hours to do it. When you will do the same exam at your home, then maybe you can finish your exam in 2 or 20 minutes or maybe in 2 hours when you are at your home. But when you will in the examination hall, then the atmosphere, the environment, everything will be changed. So at that place, one clock will be there on your head, which will run. One pressure will be on you that you are in an exam. Your mom, dad is waiting for you. Your family is waiting for you. They want you to crack that exam. That pressure will definitely waste your time in the examination hall. So practice is also one of the key. You have to practice it again and again at your home. If you can crack it in 2 hours at your home, then it will take 2 hours 20 minutes in the examination hall because of that tension, because of that pressure in the examination hall. Always remember, the pressure will be different. So practice is the key point. Now, this was all about the preliminary examination. Now let's talk about the mains examination. Hopefully, all the participants who are listening to us, they will definitely clear the pre-examination in the first go. Now, so let's talk about the mains examination. Let's talk about the mains examination. What is the mains examination? It is a subjective examination. In subjective examination, when you will see, there will be a written examination. You have to write it down. There is a written examination. You have to write it down. There will be a particular subject like Civil Law 1, Civil Law 2, Criminal Law, English or Hindi. Like there will be the subjects and you have to prepare the complete subject for this. But what all things are there which you have to keep in mind while giving the mains examination. Now here there is no requirement of cover to cover bare act. What does it mean? It means you have to concentrate only on those sections, only on those topics which are very much relevant and on which the mains or the topic on which you can write can be there in it. For an example, section 11, res judicata. Res judicata is a very most important topic. And you will see in each and every exam, the question will be there on res judicata. For an example, in Indian Evidence Act, you can check estoppel. What is estoppel? Estoppel can be there in examination. So what I want to say from this, that in mains examination, you have to choose the topic, that these topics are important and I have to read these topics at length. either from any book or from any notes or from wherever you can get it properly along with the judgments. For an example, murder 302, culpable homicide 304. The question can be like, what is the difference between both of them, 302 and 304? Then you have to write it down, what is the difference. The question can be like in Hindu law, the question can be, what effects or consequences are there on section 6 of Hindu Succession Act after the amendment of 2006, जब से लड़की को शेयर दे दिया गया है प्रॉपर्टी में, उसको कोपार्टनर बना दिया गया है, और उसमें आप ये देखोगे कि उसके क्या इफेक्ट्स हुए. This can be the question in the examination. So you should be very particular while choosing the topic of the main examination. You have to read those topics instead of going cover to cover direct. It doesn't mean that you can leave all other sections. You have to read the direct so that all other sections can be there in your mind, because the question can be of 30 marks and question can be of 2.5 marks also. If suppose a question is of 2.5 marks, then they can very well ask you, what is the common intention? Write a short note on common intention. What is the difference between common intention and common object? You just have to write 5 lines, 10 lines in such questions. If you will appear in the exam of MP, you will see there will be very small questions which will be there. So you have to prepare yourself according to your state. If you are appearing for Punjab and Haryana, then there will be a very lengthy paper in mains. So you should always keep in mind that you should write short answers and on the point. You have to hit actually on the very particular law point which is involved in the question at the time of attempting the question in the mains examination. So this was all about the selective study. In addition to it, while doing this, you have to learn that you should interlink the subject. Suppose there is a question on criminal law. In criminal law, it can be revolved around the IPC, evidence and CRPC at one time. In a question, they can ask you about the investigation part also. They can ask you about writing, whether being a judge, being a magistrate, whether you will acquit the accused or convict the accused. Or in addition to it, there will be some evidence also. So you have to check whether that evidence is relevant at this point of time, whether that evidence is permissible to produce at that stage. So all in one subject, you have to interlink all other subjects while doing it, while writing your answer. So interlinking is very much important. If you will read section 162 CRPC, then there is an interlinking of section 162, section 311 of CRPC, section 165 of Indian Evidence Act. So all these sections are interconnected or interlinked. While preparing for mains examination, interlinking is very much important if you want to impress the person who will check your exam, who will check your mains exam. So interlinking is very much important to learn. Thereafter, good writing skills. Now you all know what is good writing skills. Good writing skills means your English should be good. Grammatically, you should be good while writing your answer. To avoid the mistakes in your examination or to increase your speed, you should always practice at your home. You should always try to write the answers at your home. You can take any book for the solve judicial examination की कोई book ले लीजिए आप. You can check the previous year papers from that book and you should try to write down the answers on your own while sitting at your home. You can also do one thing, you can pick up one full paper after preparing one subject, or after preparing like the subject of criminal law, you can pick up one paper of criminal law from any book and you can sit down for 3 hours. You can try to write out that paper and you can see that whether you are good in writing, whether you can complete your paper at time or not. Now, legal maxim and phrases. If you have learned few legal maxims or phrases, then it's good for you. You can write it down in the examination. It will impress the teacher, but always remember one thing. If you are confused about the legal maxim, if you do not know at least one word in that maxim, please don't try to write that maxim, because if you will do so, then that will put the wrong impact or the wrong impression. Instead of impressing the person who will check your exam, he will cut your marks if you will write the wrong maxim. And you have to know at which maxim you can use where. So all these things should be there in your mind while appearing in the written examination. In addition to it, there is a language paper of in means examination. For an example, if you will appear in Delhi, then you will see there will be a language paper of English. There will be 4 papers: Civil Law 1, Civil Law 2, Criminal Law, and English. In English, they will ask you to write one essay. They will give you one paragraph, and you have to translate that paragraph from Hindi to English. So you have to know Hindi very well. You have to know English very well. Your grammar should be good. In addition to it, if you will appear in the exam of Haryana Judicial Services, then there will be one additional exam of Hindi where you have to write the Nibandh, like you have to write the essay, and there are all other things. In Punjab, there will be a paper of Punjabi itself. You have to write down the essay also. You have to write down the that like legal maxims. There are muhavras. There are different things which you have to write. You have to prepare a separate paper for this. So in which state you are appearing, you have to see whether there is any particular language paper, or there is only English language paper is there, or there is just translation in the English language. So just read it out. Don't leave that subject of language part. Usually where we commit mistake, we thought that we know how to speak English, we know how to write English, so I can write essay. But always remember my words. When you will write an essay of 1000 words, it will be quite difficult for you to interlink that essay properly. So always practice it at home before appearing in the examination. Before appearing in the examination, so you have to keep all these things in your mind. Now I'll invite Mr. Ubay to come to talk about the local laws and all other things in the mains examination.
Thank you, sir. So the local laws means here, the local laws are those particular laws which are only applicable in a particular state. Meaning thereby, if we are talking about Delhi, then Delhi Rent Control Act. We are talking about UP Zamindari Abolition Act, MP Rent Control Act, or whatever type of acts are there. So those acts which are applicable only a particular state is a local law. So you have to plan, you have to check out your plan for that particular state. So once you plan that I have to appear in a particular state exam, that is even we consider this Delhi Judiciary exam. So you will be going through the Delhi Rent Control Act. You are planning to go for a UP exam, then obviously you will go for UP local laws. So local laws are different from each states. So local laws are the key point, or rather we will say the turning point, because normally every person will think so and so laws are there, so and so questions are there, so and so syllabus are there. So the common syllabus will be prepared by everyone, but the local laws will be the criteria for selection, rather we can say, because if you are concentrating upon a particular state, so you must be concentrating upon a particular local law. So never skip local law, rather stick on local law. So most of the persons are preparing for judiciary on the basis of common laws, on the basis of general laws. Once you are going through a particular state, then go through those particular local laws of that particular states. for example, this Delhi Rent Control Act, UP Zamindari Abolition Act, and Land Reform Act, etc. These are the local laws of each state. Every state has its own local laws. So, recent landmark and judgments. Sometimes क्या होता है कि जो recent judgment होता है, क्वेश्चन अभी देखा था मैंने, एक क्वेश्चन किसी ने किया था चैट बॉक्स में कि recent judgments कितने recent होने चाहिए या कहाँ तक के recent judgments हो जाने चाहिए. तो उसके लिए maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months और maybe 1 year, maximum 1 year. उससे पहले कि आप recent laws या recent judgments पढ़ें, उन recent judgments में कई बार क्या होता है कि जो questions होते हैं वो as it is उन्हीं facts पर दे दिए जाते हैं या उनके facts में names या कुछ laws twist करके रख दिए जाते हैं. तो क्या होता है, आपको वहां पर strike कर जाता है कि ये तो फलाने जजमेंट का फैक्ट है और फलाने जजमेंट में ये हेल्ड हुआ था. तो आपके जहन में पूरा स्केच तैयार है उस पर्टिकुलर जजमेंट के लिए. जब आपका स्केच तैयार है तो आप उसी स्पिरिट से फिर अपने आंसर को राइट करेंगे. तो वो आपकी आंसर राइटिंग जो होगी उस पढ़े हुए जजमेंट से आपको आज काम देगी आपको आंसर राइटिंग में, जो कि मेंस का एक पार्ट बन जाता है. और वो कभी कभी जैसे पहले बताया था कि ऑब्जेक्टिव में भी आ जाता है कि दिस पर्टिकुलर जजमेंट इज रिलेटेड टू व्हाट. ये फलाना जजमेंट है, ये किससे रिलेटेड है, ये इस चीज से रिलेटेड है. रीसेंट जजमेंट अक्सर ऐसे ही हुआ करते हैं. तो इसलिए रीसेंट जजमेंट को पढ़ना या लैंडमार्क जजमेंट को पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी है. रीसेंट जजमेंट ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाते हैं. कई बार आपको अप्लाइड क्वेश्चंस जहां पर आ जाते हैं तो उसमें कई बार सेम फैक्ट्स हो जाते हैं. अप्लाइड क्वेश्चंस आपको सॉल्व करने में आसानी हो जाती है. तो टाइम मैनेजमेंट ऑफ क्वेश्चन पेपर, उसमें 2 चीजें मैटर करती है, राइटिंग स्पीड एंड पेपर एनालिसिस. तो राइटिंग स्पीड एज ऑलरेडी सेड, जितना आप प्रैक्टिस करेंगे, द मोर यू प्रैक्टिस द मोर यू बिकम बेटर. जितना ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस होगी उतनी ही आपकी राइटिंग स्पीड बढ़ेगी. और जितनी बार आप क्वेश्चन को पढ़ेंगे, जितनी बार आप क्वेश्चन पेपर को पढ़ेंगे, उतना ही क्वेश्चन पेपर आपका एनालिसिस होगा. जितना अच्छा एनालाइज आप कर पाएंगे क्वेश्चन पेपर को, उतना ही अच्छा आप आंसर लिख पाएंगे. सो फॉर दैट एंड you have to read at least 3 to 4 times क्वेश्चन. मेंस में खास तरीके से कम 4 बार क्वेश्चन को पहले पढ़िए, कितना ही बड़ा क्वेश्चन हो. even if it's for 2 lines, 3 lines, 5 lines, 10 lines, even if it's in paras, but you have to go through the question for at least 3 or 4 times so that you can make your sketch in your own mind कि भाई मुझे इसको ऐसे करके लिखना है, यहाँ पे इसका ये सवाल है, यहाँ पे इसका ये जवाब आ जाएगा, इस बात के लिए मैं ये बात कह दूंगा, इस बात के लिए ये मैं लॉ साइड करूंगा और इस अपनी रीजनिंग के लिए मैं ये जजमेंट साइड करूंगा. तो द स्केच विल बी इन योर माइंड द मोमेंट यू विल स्टडीइंग द क्वेश्चन पेपर, द मोमेंट यू विल स्टडीइंग द क्वेश्चन इटसेल्फ. वहां पर आप स्केच बन जाएगा और फिर उसी स्केच में जैसे ही आप लिखते चले जाएंगे तो दैट विल बी इन कंटिन्यूटी. सो द आंसर विल बी इन कंटिन्यूटी एज पर योर स्केच which is prepared in your mind. So the speed writing speed and paper analysis is both the things are interconnected. So answer writing में वो डिपेंड करता है कैसा क्वेश्चन होगा. उसमें framing of issues, appreciation of facts and evidence and the law, balance of interest and burden of proof. तो यहाँ पर जब ये प्रॉब्लम बेस्ड क्वेश्चन होगा, अप्लाइड क्वेश्चन होगा, जहाँ जो जजमेंट्स होंगे, रीसेंट जजमेंट हो या ना भी हो, आपको एक पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन दे दी जाएगी. उस सिचुएशन में आपको देखना है कि कौन सा लॉ अप्लाई होगा यहाँ पर, कौन सा सेक्शन अप्लाई होगा यहाँ पर, और इनको कैसे इंटरलिंक किया जाएगा. अगर एक से ज्यादा लॉज अप्लाई हो रहे हैं, एक से ज्यादा अगर एक्ट अप्लाई हो रहे हैं कहीं पर, तो उनमें इंटरलिंक कैसे किया जाएगा. जैसे बंसल साहब ने बहुत अच्छे से इंटरलिंकिंग की आर्ट बताई कि हाउ टू इंटरलिंक विद वेरियस लॉज और वेरियस सेक्शंस. सो यहाँ पे आपको इंटरलिंक जो है वो काम करेगा आंसर राइटिंग में. पहले आप फैक्ट देखेंगे, फैक्ट के बाद में फिर आपको जो उन फैक्ट से जो महसूस हो रहा है कि दीज आर द एविडेंसेस, वो एविडेंस आप वहां से उठाएंगे. वो एविडेंस आपके अगर फैक्ट को पॉजिटिव बनाती है तो आप अपने आंसर में अपना रेशियो लिखेंगे, अगर वो उसको नेगेटिव बनाती है तो आप उसमें अपना नेगेटिव लिखेंगे. लेकिन फैक्ट्स को एविडेंस बनने में इतना ही टाइम लगता है जितना कि आपके दिमाग में कुछ सोचने में टाइम लगता है. कोई भी चीज, वो फैक्ट दिया गया, उस फैक्ट को आप एविडेंस भी मान सकते हैं और आप एविडेंस नहीं भी मान सकते हैं, वो फैक्ट्स. तो इसलिए बार बार क्वेश्चन पढ़ने के लिए मैंने पहले बात बताई थी, क्वेश्चन पढ़ना उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट है जितना कि क्वेश्चन लिख का आंसर राइट करना. बैलेंस ऑफ इंटरेस्ट एंड बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ. बैलेंस ऑफ इंटरेस्ट मतलब एक क्वेश्चन में 4 बातें कही गई हैं, उसमें किसी एक बात का कुछ इफेक्ट होता है, दूसरी का कुछ इफेक्ट होता है, तीसरे का कुछ होता है। उन तीनों इफेक्ट्स को न्यूट्रलाइज करेंगे, उन तीनों इफेक्ट को ऐसे हम आंसर बनाएंगे जिससे कोई किसी का एक से दूसरे को कोई इफेक्ट ना हो। तो दिस इज बैलेंस ऑफ एंड बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ। The next slide will be interview. Bansal Saab, you please elaborate on interview. I will join later. Or you you want to add something for mains also? You please.
You have explained it very properly about it, all the local laws and the recent judgments. You have to go through all the judgments that can directly come in the examination while you are appearing. They can twist a little bit of facts. That will be quite convenient for you to write the answer if you know about the judgment, if you have already read that judgment. And in addition to it, while you are writing the answer, the few things which are written in the last slide were like the framing of issue. In the civil paper, when you will write the paper of civil law 1 or civil law 2, then you will see you have to issue you have to frame the issues in civil law, because there is no charge in the civil law like in criminal law. So you have to frame the issues. Sometimes the question will be there, the preposition will be there, and what will be the crux of that question? They will ask you to frame the issues in that preposition. So you have to learn the art that how to frame the issues. In addition to it, if you are writing the civil paper, at that time you have to see the balance of interest between the parties. You have to see what evidence is there in whose favor, and according to it, in whose favor you want to pass the judgment. So you have to make the balance between both the parties. Furthermore, if you are writing an answer for the criminal law, in criminal law you have to see the burden of proof. There, as on whom the burden of proof is there to prove the case. As per section 101 of Indian Evidence Act, it explains you burden of proof. But section 102 of Indian Evidence Act is very much important, because it tells you on whom the burden or onus of proof is at what time. Suppose I am a prosecutor, I have explained or I have proved my case, then the defense will get the opportunity to give the evidence, to lead the evidence. So the burden of proof will be on the defense. So during examination, when you are writing an answer, you have to write down burden of proof. You have to write down initially in the preposition, initially on whom the burden of proof was, and later on whether that burden of proof has shifted to the opposite party. So the using of these words, balancing of interest, the burden of proof, these are really very important while writing the mains examination. So always remember these words in your mind while writing the answer. You, as Mr. Sayyed has already said, you have to appreciate the facts and evidence, and you must know the law, that what is the law on those facts and what you have to write in the examination.
One more thing I would like to add. We have exhaustively discussed the applied papers or the applied questions. तो मैं ये भी जरूर कहना चाहूंगा यहाँ पे अप्लाइड के साथ में यहाँ पे कुछ स्टेट्स हैं जहाँ पे आपको सीधे सीधे थ्योरी बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, उसमें सीधे सीधे आपको पूछा जाएगा, जैसे आपने बताया था रेस जुडिकाटा पूछ लिया आपसे, तो व्हाट इज रेस जुडिकाटा, व्हाट आर द इंग्रेडिएंट्स ऑफ रेस जुडिकाटा, हाउ रेस जुडिकाटा इज अप्लाइड, और इस तरीके से और बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स होते हैं जिसमें आपको एप्लीकेशन ना हो के एज इट इज लिखना होगा. तो फॉर दैट एंड यू हैव टू मेमोराइज द बेयर एक्ट एज वेल एज यू हैव टू गो थ्रू द टेक्स्ट बुक्स. ये भी उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट है जितना इंपॉर्टेंट अप्लाइड क्वेश्चंस के लिए है कि आप अप्लाइड क्वेश्चंस में फैक्ट बेस और लॉ बेस पे बात करते हैं. उतना ही जरूरी है कि जैसे कि कॉलेज के आंसर्स हुआ करते थे वी कैन से, उसी तरीके से यहाँ पर भी टेक्स्ट बुक पे थ्योरी बेस एज इट इज आपको कॉपी पर उतारना है. तो ये स्टेट टू स्टेट इसीलिए डिपेंड करता है, कुछ स्टेट्स में थ्योरी बेस हो जाते हैं तो वहां पे आपको लीगल टॉपिक्स या जो टॉपिक्स हैं जो कि टेक्स्ट बुक्स में एज इट इज दिए हुए हैं, तो आपको वहीं पर एज इट इज ही आपको मेमोराइज करना होगा और उनको कॉपी पर उतार कर आना होगा. सर You please
Yeah,
continue.
very true. Mr. Abhishek, can you move on the next slide, please? Yeah, now let's talk about the interview. I think you all know about the interview. You must have appeared interview anytime, anywhere in your life, either in school, college, wherever. So in interview, you all know communication skills. You must have to have a little bit of good communication skills so that you can express yourself as to what do you want to say to the person who is there in the jury, or the person who is there for the interview, so that you can explain him in simple language that what do you want to say. You should have to have the good communication skills in English. Second one is the attire of your wear. You should wear a simple, either if you're appearing before the high court for the interview, either wear the black suit properly, that black coat pant which we usually wear in court, decent color. ऐसा कलर नहीं आप पहन के जाओगे कि लाल रंग का पहन लिया, पीले रंग का पहन लिया. You cannot do this. You should be very much decent. You should be well dressed while appearing before the jury for the interview. You must have to have all basic etiquettes. What do you mean by the basic etiquettes? Like you cannot enter inside the room without asking them that may I come in, sir, or may I come in, ma'am. You cannot sit on the chair till the time they will not give you command to sit down. You have to say good morning, or whatever the time will be, good afternoon or good evening, whatever will be there. If at the time of interview a lady is there and other members are the male members in the jury, then you have to greet the lady first, then the other members. This all things you have to remind. Moreover, as we talk about the interview, so you should be very much straight while giving the answers. Sometimes there is a theory in law school. When I was in the law school, usually we think in Viva or somewhere else in moot courts, we usually think that if you cannot impress the person, then confuse them. But that theory will not work here. If you do not know the answer, you have to directly tell them that, sir, I have read it, but it has kept from my mind. Or you can tell him, I am not sure about it. I do not know the answer of this question. You have to be very straight and very direct while giving the answer. You should be very honest with your answer and confident. Whatever answer is there as per you, you should be confident with that answer. Don't fumble there while giving the answer. If you have given the answer and later on, after the fraction of seconds, you have come to know that, oh, I have given the wrong answer, don't panic, don't worry. They will change the question, or they will change the circumstances automatically. They will again ask you, or they will explain you that you have committed a little bit of mistake here. Then you can again reiterate it that yes, you have to accept it. Yes. Then you can tell them, yes, I have come to know I have committed mistake here. So you should be very confident. If you are confident enough, then they will come to know about it that this candidate is very much confident and he can face any condition in the court also. They will judge whether you are able to sit on that chair and you can handle that pressure, that 50 lawyers, litigants, all other persons are standing in front of you and all are shouting, somebody is asking for this, somebody is asking for this. Can you handle that pressure? They will judge everything. So avoid creating confusion by your answers. Don't confuse them. Don't give confusive answers, as I've already told you. And what about the law and other knowledge? You must be very well versed with your laws, whatever you have read about current affairs, whatever is going on, like suicide of farmers. Suppose this is a hot topic these days, then you must have to know about them. Like these days, floods are coming on different states. If today or day after tomorrow or after a week or after 15 days you are appearing for the interview, then you must have to know that why the floods have come, in which state, what happened there, whether government helped or not. Recently, when this case was, Nirbhaya gang case was going on, at that time, because of the death penalty, they were again filing the petition, clemency petition before the president, before the Supreme Court. They were filing the review petitions and all those. So if your interview was at that time, then you should be aware about that law, that what is the clemency law, where the petition can be filed, who can decide it, whether the state government can decide it or central government can decide it. You should know about all these facts. You should know what is going on in the nation these days. In addition to it, overall awareness should be there. A general awareness, which we use the word general awareness. You should be aware about all the things generally. In addition to it, sometimes in interview, they will ask you, what is your favorite subject? Like when I have appeared in the interview a number of times, I was really good with Indian Evidence Act. So if you are good with a particular subject, then give them a name. Don't give them a broad perspective like a criminal law, because criminal law includes a number of things. CRPC, IPC, evidence, NDPS, a number of subjects will come in criminal law. You should be particular. If they are asking about one subject, you should be very particular about that subject, and you should have to have the thorough knowledge of that subject before giving them any name. Moreover, you should be very particular while filling up your data in that form which will come before the examination. That form which will you fill up your marks and your hobbies, your interest, which is your favorite game, and where you have been, whether you have conducted any seminar, you have attended any seminar, you have appeared in any moot courts. You have to write down whether you have post-graduated. You have to write these details very carefully, because all the biodata, everything, whatever you have written in that form, that will be with the jury at that time, and they can ask any question on it. Like you have written cricket, that I like cricket. They can ask you anything. What is the distance between two wickets? They can ask you what is the diameter of the ball. They can ask you the length about the bat. They can ask anything on that game. If you are written like I love to travel a lot, then they can ask you where you have traveled till today, how many places you have visited. If you have given, like for an example, suppose I have attended a moot court in Hong Kong, William C. William arbitration moot. So that was the arbitration moot. If I am writing that I have appeared in William C. William arbitration moot, then you must have to know about the arbitration. You must have to know about the basic law of the arbitration. They can ask you about the arbitration. So you should be very particular before writing anything, before speaking anything, and whatever you will speak, they will take out the words from your mouth, or they will pick up the words. Whatever you will speak, they will ask you another question on them. As well as one more thing, sometimes they can play with you the rapid fire. When I have appeared in the interview before the UPSC, they have played the rapid fire with me. They have asked me in which section good faith is written. So you will give the answer section 52. Again, the other one will ask you the question. Then other one, in which section common intention is written. Or under section 34, which is the main word, which is the parent section of CPC, which is the parent section of Indian Evidence Act, which is a special section in which a magistrate can ask the question at any stage. So you should be very quick. You should be very confident in the interview. So these all things are there. If Mr. Ubaid, if you want to add something, then please, you can.
Banza, you have very beautifully covered almost everything, but still I would like to add one or two things. For example, this telling an answer, this straight answer, and if you have said so, never stick on that. Meaning to say, sometimes we give an answer instantly and we realize that we have said something wrong. So don't stick on that. Just again say, sorry sir, I cannot say. जरूरी नहीं है कि एक बार आपने कह दी तो यू हैव टू स्टिक ऑन दैट. आप चिपके रहो कि नहीं जी मैंने जो बात कह दी है वो एब्सोल्युटली राइट है. नो, अगर आपको थोड़ी देर में भी रियलाइज होता है तो यू कैन से सर आई हैव रियलाइज दिस, आई थिंक yeah, as far as my knowledge, it's not so and so. So say it, say it. Never take on कि मुझे अब नहीं कहना है, एक बार जो मैंने बात कह दी है मुझे वैसे उससे दोबारा से वो बात नहीं कहनी है. नो, नेवर थिंक लाइक दैट. एक बार अगर गलत महसूस हो रहा है एट लेटर स्टेज, जस्ट से इट. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. ठीक है सर.
I think we should start with the question answer session, Mr. Abhishek.
Please, Sani, please take up the questions which have been asked in the advance registration form, and then we shall take up the questions in the chat box.
Yeah, as you feel comfortable, no issues.
Please continue.
Thank you very much, sir, for that enlightening session. We shall now move to the Q&A session. First question is, how to prepare for judiciary along with college?
This is quite simple actually. I have already told you about this. Suppose in your college these days they are teaching you CPC or CRPC. Today you have read section 9, 10, 11 of the CPC. They talks about like res sub judice, res judicata. They will give you limited knowledge on that subject on those sections. But because you want to crack the exam, you have to read the section a number of times. You have to read the textbook properly on that section. And if you are that much good enough that you can make your short notes about it, then you can do that. So as soon as you will finish one subject, suppose you have completed one subject like CPC you have completed, then you can buy one book of multiple choice questions. There are a number of books like the publisher is Universal. You can buy the book of Universal. You can buy the book of Dr. Ashok Kumar Jain. You can buy the book of Singals. There are a number of books in the market. These three books are really good. You can buy any book and you can read the question, multiple choice questions from that, and you can try to attempt them if you have time. You can do all these. You can do all these things with all the subjects like IPC, CRPC, whatever subject they are teaching you. You have to learn it properly at that moment, at that very moment.
Thank you so much, sir. The next question is there any bar to write a judicial exam of other state, as in
No.
the state other than which I live in?
No, not at all. There is no bar, rather some barriers are there, we can say. For example, I am from UP itself. So I don't know Odia language, I don't know Punjabi language. So I will not appear in Punjab judicial examination because I don't know Punjabi. Here precondition is Punjabi language. So I cannot qualify in Punjabi language. So I will not appear in that examination. So that will be a barrier, but no bar is there for any examination for any state. आप पंजाबी सीखो, जाओ एग्जाम दो, no issue. Next question, please.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, do one need to remember all sections or only the important ones?
See, we have already explained you about it. If you are appearing in the preliminary examination, you should go through all the sections, but you will come to know after doing the practice at home, you will come to know all other important sections. You have to focus on the important sections more rather than all the sections, but because you should have the overview from section to section or cover to cover direct. So for preliminary examination, we'll suggest you have to read all the sections, but point out important sections. For mains examination, you have to point out the main topics rather than going through cover to cover direct.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, can you tell us a little about judgment writing analysis?
So as far as the judgment writing is concerned, I have already told you, if you are preparing for the civil examination or the criminal examination, you have to take care of this. And as far as different states are concerned, you have to see the pattern. Like I have told you, in MP, they will ask you small questions of 2.5 marks. If you will appear in Delhi, they will ask you the question of 50 marks. So you have to write it down at your home. You have to practice, and you have to learn that how you can interlink the sections, how you can interlink the bare acts, different subjects, as well as in criminal law, you have to always understand that how the burden of proof is shifting from one party to the other. And on the other side, in civil law, you have to see the balance of interest, as well as there is a probability. There is a concept of probability. So you have to learn these basic aspects of civil and criminal law. Then you have to answer according to it.
Apart from that, if may allow, मैं यहाँ कुछ ऐड करना चाहूँगा सर, आपकी अगर अप्रूवल हो तो. हेलो.
हाँ जी, प्लीज.
जो राइटिंग या जो भी
Yes, Mr. Navneet, please add something.
जो राइटिंग या क्वेरीज है ना, जजमेंट के एक्सप्लेनेशन और राइटिंग स्किल्स के रिगार्डिंग, we well versed about the problem, or that is why we are coming up with that particular aspect कि क्लासेस जो होंगे उनमें ये छोटे छोटे न्यूआंसेस जो कि कैसे इम्प्रूव करते हैं, वो जो हमारे एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं, जो उसकी बेसिस पे वी कैन टीच देम. जो अपकमिंग सेशंस आ रहे हैं सितंबर फर्स्ट वीक से जुडिशियल सर्विसेज के प्रिपरेशन में, तो वहाँ पे ये डिटेल चीजें कवर हो जाएंगी, क्योंकि ये 1 घंटे में कवर होने वाला पार्ट नहीं है. तो राइटिंग स्किल्स इंप्रूव करने के लिए आपको बहुत छोटे छोटे चीजों को समझना होता है, क्योंकि जजमेंट को अगर कोट करते हुए अगर हमें राइटिंग स्किल इंप्रूव करनी है, तो वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि जजमेंट का कौन सा पार्ट हमें यूज करना है, कितना फैक्ट्स यूज करना है, कितना रेसिडेंस का इम्पोर्टेंस है, और वर्डिक्ट जो है वो वर्डिक्ट कैसे आएगी और फैक्ट्स को कैसे यूज करेंगे. तो दीज थिंग्स आर नॉट कम्ड एज अ, मैंने बता दिया और आप सीख लिया, उसको करेक्ट करना होगा, टाइम एंड अगेन हमें बताना होगा.
See the sir, this is the actually introductory session. This
Yes,
is the
yes.
introduction for questions, introduction for
Yes,
pattern,
yes.
introduction for how to prepare for judiciary. See, this is actually introductory session, and we will take separate sessions for each issues, whatever you are telling.
Yes, yes,
You are absolutely right. We will also do like that.
yes, yes. Thank you, sir.
Next question, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. The next question is, how many years of current affairs does one need to stay updated with?
See, this is there is no specific pattern or formula or syllabus for that. So current affair is current affair. It may depend upon its importance. कितना important issue है और वो कितना लंबा human mind में रहता है, ये उसके लिए important है. ये कोई आपके लिए फिक्स नहीं है कि भाई 3 महीने की करंट अफेयर या 6 महीने की, हो सकता है 2 साल पुराना भी कोई इतना इंपॉर्टेंट कोई इशू हो, वो भी पूछा जा सकता है. पर हाँ, 1 year करंट अफेयर इज मोर देन एनफ. 1 year करंट अफेयर इज सफिशिएंट.
I would like to add a little bit. Like जैसे नोबेल प्राइज है, नोबेल प्राइज अगर आ रहा है तो वो रिसेंट ही आएगा. देखो विंबलडन कप किसने जीता, वो रिसेंट ही आएगा. ठीक है, वर्ल्ड कप क्रिकेट का किसने जीता, वो रिसेंट ही आएगा. वो सारी चीजें अगर रिसेंट वाली आई हैं, हुई हैं अभी, वो आपको रिसेंट ही याद करनी है. और आई एग्री विद मिस्टर उबैद कि अगर कोई ऐसी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है वो 2 साल पुरानी भी है, वो भी पेपर में आ सकती है, नो इश्यूज. ऐसी चीजें, बुकर्स प्राइज किसको मिला, बेस्ट बुक कौन सी डिक्लेयर हुई, ये सारी चीजों तो लेटेस्ट ही आएंगी. बाकी कोई ऐसी कोई इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, सपोज करो हमारे इंडिया में स्टैचू ऑफ यूनिटी बना, ठीक है, उस स्टैच्यू ऑफ यूनिटी की लेंथ कितनी है, वो कितनी है, और वो 2 साल पहले बना था चाहे 4 साल पहले बना था, it doesn't matter, और वो कभी भी आ सकता है.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, what is the lower and upper age limit for appearing in the examination?
As such, there is no age limit. As far as you have completed your law, you can appear in the examination. Maybe it may be 21, I think.
It is 21, Rajat, if I may. It is minimum age is 21, and
maximum is 33 in some states. In some states, it is 32. and it is different for SC, ST, and OBC. It is different. It is like 35 for them.
If I may add something, I think it's in Delhi it's 32, and in UP it is 35, and for reserved categories it is 45. उबैद सर, I think आप एग्री करोगे इस बात से?
Absolutely right.
Thank you,
Absolutely
sir.
right.
And in other states, it's 35 in Rajasthan, upper limit. And obviously, there are some other barriers that depends upon the notification of the particular state, which you have to go through. ठीक है,
See,
so-
this is factual thing, and on which examination you are concentrating, it depends upon that particular examination. So it's a factual thing. और ये normally पता चल जाता है नेट पे, आप ऑनलाइन कहीं पे भी गूगल करेंगे तो किसी भी स्टेट का किसी भी एग्जाम का आपको पता चल जाता है इजीली कि इसमें कितना एज है, कोई not as much as.
Please be vigilant about the notifications.
Yes. Next question, please.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, how can one work on his or her confidence?
So for confidence building, your practice will make you confident. The more you practice, the more you will be confident. Confidence के लिए यही तो है कि मुझे ये मालूम होना चाहिए कि ये क्या है. जब आप प्रैक्टिस किए हुए होंगे, आपने उनके आंसर्स लिखे हुए होंगे, that will be your confidence. That will make you more confident. ऐसे ही आप क्वेश्चन की बात करें, आप आंसर राइटिंग की बात करें या मॉक इंटरव्यू की बात करें, जैसे कि क्वेश्चन राइटिंग इंपॉर्टेंट है उतना ही मॉक इंटरव्यू भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. और इंटरव्यू के लिए खास तरीके से अलग अलग टेक्निक्स हैं, कुछ कुछ कहता है, कुछ कुछ इस्तेमाल करता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आप मिरर के सामने खड़े हो जाइए, आप अपने आप से बात ही कीजिए, आप अपना इंट्रोडक्शन अपने आप को दीजिए. दैट विल boost your confidence. So such type of things will be booster for your confidence. Next question, please.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, how can one evaluate himself?
See, the answer is same, that you have to practice at your home. You, as I have already given you, in Delhi, you have to, when you will appear in the examination, there will be 200 questions in the preliminary examination. So you have to pick up any previous year question papers. You have to sit at your home. You have to turn on the clock, and you have to try in how much time you can do that. And in addition to it, when you will do the paper, then you will come to know about it, in how much time I have done, how many questions I have done right, how many questions I have done wrong. And basically remember one thing, in Delhi examination, the minimum criteria is 60% marks. Like out of 200, if you are 120, if you will get 120, then above of 120, the merit will, they will make the merit. If you are on 119, then you are out of the game. So 120 is the minimum marks which you need to clear the exam. After clearing the exam, they will make the merit. So to evaluate yourself, do as much as practice you can. From that practice, from those question answers, you can evaluate yourself, that how many you have done right or how many you have done wrong.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, how to study CPC in particular?
This is again the same question, like we cannot explain you in this webinar that how can you read the CPC. I have told you whatever topic you like, you can pick up that topic, you can read that topic. This is what we can say right now, because this is not a session in which I can elaborate everything about CPC. CPC is a lengthy subject, as you all know. There are sections as well as orders. So whatever you like, you have to read them. But one thing I can tell you, which you can do, if you are reading sections, you have to read the relevant order also at the same time. If you are read about revision or reference, then you also read the orders pertaining to revision, reference, review. This is what at this time I can tell you.
Absolutely right. CPC नहीं, आप किसी भी चीज को तैयार करने के लिए, किसी भी सब्जेक्ट को तैयार करने के लिए just go through the index. जैसे कि बल्कि साहब ने पहले बताया था, इंडेक्स है, उस पर आप पर्टिकुलर अपने किसी एक टॉपिक को चुनिए. उस एक पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक को चुनने के बाद में फिर आप उसका इंटरलिंक कीजिए ऑर्डर्स के साथ में, तब आपका वो कंप्लीट प्रिपेयर हो पाएगा.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, How to prepare for Chhattisgarh Judicial Services?
Well, sir, I have no knowledge about the Chhattisgarh.
Actually, the question has been asked by a second year student of a third year LLB course, 3-year LLB course. Sayed sir, would you like to enlighten us on this topic, or shall I mention something?
Um, I exactly cannot tell on the Chhattisgarh syllabus, but the general or common thing, it would be normal laws are there, and the local laws, whatever local laws for Chhattisgarh, you have to prepare for that, and you have to see as per notification of Chhattisgarh judiciary exam.
Okay.
So right now I don't have that notification right now, so I cannot comment upon that particular local laws.
Just want to add few more things to what Ubaid sir has mentioned. See, in Chhattisgarh Judicial Services Examination, they are very particular about the bare provisions, specifically in preliminary examination. So be very particular about cover to cover reading, as what has been told by our worthy speakers during the session. Second most important thing is the local law of Chhattisgarh. For instance, their Accommodation Control Act and other, there are 3 local acts which they cover in their syllabus. So be very particular about the local bare acts, acts, because that local act is going to be a game changer in Chhattisgarh Judicial Services. Everybody knows what is IPC, CRPC, and the paper is not that tough. Another important aspect is that there is no negative marking, so you may proceed accordingly. Okay, and for the mains, obviously you have to be very specific. What are the important topics from the previous year question papers? If you are in your second year of your LLB course, start preparing right now. You will be able to crack it right after your graduation. Good luck. Please, next question.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, how much importance is given to local laws of a particular state?
That I have already very well expressed in this. Anyway, next question.
How relevant is it to practice in the courts for initial days to crack the judicial exam?
Good question. The practice actually is its practice and practical aspect. So after going the court, only we find the practical aspects of court procedure. So we actually see the procedure over there. In college, we learn the procedure and we see the procedure in courts. So it's the same importance is there. As much as it's important to learn the procedure, the same way it's important to see the procedure. And once you see the procedure, you will be more equipped with the procedure. So it will be helpful in answer writing, and it will be helpful in understanding the applied questions, in understanding the problem-based question. So it will be good, or rather I will suggest every person or every student or every law graduate should first go to the court and see the procedure and simultaneously prepare for examination.
Thank you, sir. The last question is, if one does not belong to that state and if one wants to prepare for that particular judiciary, how should one go for the language in particular?
You have to see what language paper is there in that concerned judicial examination. Like if you want to appear in Punjab or Haryana, in Haryana there is an exam of Hindi. So the first and the foremost thing is you must have the certificate with you of 10th class, in which we call the matriculation certificate. So if you have not appeared in that language anyhow, then you can give the exam through open board. Thereafter, you know about that language, so you should practice at your home that how to write that language, because you have to appear in the written examination. In prelim examination, that subject will not come, but in mains examination that subject will come. So you must have to have the writing skills with you regarding that subject. So this is all about this. The same answer is for Punjab, Haryana, Hindi, Rajasthan. If you want to appear in all these states, you have to check what is the examination, what all comes in the examination. You have to see the previous year question papers. Then you will come to know about it, whether there is essay writing, whether there is any muhavras, or whether there is any translation. Then you have to prepare according to it.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, we come to an end of our Q&A session. I would now like to invite Mr. Abhishek Saxena, co-founder at PracoLearn, for the concluding remarks, announcement, and vote of thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanidhi. Thank you, Sanidhi, for such a wonderful coordination. And before I conclude, I just would like to mention a few more things. If it is of any kind of benefit, please take it. See, when we are talking about general studies, when we are talking about local laws, these two particular topics are the game changers, as we have mentioned earlier also, and our worthy speakers have also mentioned about the general studies. General studies covers a whole lot of things, including the current affairs. Everybody knows laws. We all are law graduates, and only law graduates are eligible enough to appear in this exam. So be particular about your general studies. That covers that will make you the meritorious amongst the other advocates who are appearing in this exam. That is one of the most important aspect. Apart from that, when you are in the mains exam, as has been discussed in this presentation, that judgment and judgment writing both are very important. Your answer writing is important. इसके साथ साथ आपके लिए ये इम्पोर्टेंट भी है कि आप उसको लिख कैसे रहे हैं. सी, हर एक इंडिविजुअल के राइटिंग स्किल्स अपने खुद के होते हैं, अपने तरीके से, अपने आर्ट से वो लिखता है, ठीक है. बट इंडीड उसके लिए कुछ ना कुछ इम्पॉर्टेंट टिप्स और ट्रिक्स हैं जो आपको इस सेशन में मिली है. इसके बाद आपको डिटेल में हमारे क्लासेस में मिलेंगी जो हम स्टार्ट करने वाले हैं सितंबर में. बट अगर आपको जजमेंट से रिलेटेड कुछ और भी अपने आप से भी कुछ स्टडी करना है, दैन आई वुड सजेस्ट कि आप एक बुक नोट कर लीजिए. के भारद्वाज साहब की है, ठीक है. ऑथर इज़ के भारद्वाज. इट्स अबाउट जजमेंट राइटिंग, and I think it will be much beneficial for you when you are practicing your judgment writing in civil and in criminal papers. Apart from that, I really appreciate the concern of our worthy speakers that आप लोग अपना प्रैक्टिस करते रहिए. प्रीलिम्स के लिए प्रैक्टिस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो प्रीलिम्स के लिए भी मैं आप लोग को एक बुक सजेस्ट करूँगा. मेरे सजेशन है, आप लोग कोई और बुक भी देख सकते हो. आई थिंक what my personal experience is that यूनिवर्सल पब्लिकेशन के एक मोटी बुक आती है एकदम अच्छी खासी, जिसमें बहुत सारे प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चंस होते हैं और रिपीटेड क्वेश्चंस होते हैं पिछले सालों के, ठीक है. अगर ये नहीं समझ में आ रही है तो गो फॉर एम ए राशिद. एंड एम ए राशिद इज़ फ्रॉम LexisNexis पब्लिकेशन. नाउ अनदर इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट जो मुझे यहाँ पर समझ में आया पूरे सेशन में, दैट इज़ अबाउट टाइम मैनेजमेंट. एंड आई एम रियली ग्लैड टू सी दैट द टाइम मैनेजमेंट के ऊपर क्वेश्चन भी आए और हमारे इसके ऊपर डिस्कशन भी काफ़ी अच्छा हुआ. नाउ देयर आर टू काइंड्स ऑफ टाइम मैनेजमेंट जो इसमें समझ में आ रहा है इस पेपर के लिए और जो आपके लिए इम्पॉर्टेंट है. पहला है टाइम मैनेजमेंट इम्पॉर्टेंट आपका एग्ज़ाम की प्रिपरेशन के लिए. दूसरा टाइम मैनेजमेंट इम्पॉर्टेंट है एग्ज़ाम के दौरान, व्हेन यू आर सिटिंग इन द एग्जामिनेशन हॉल एंड यू आर मैनेजिंग क्वेश्चन पेपर कि मुझे 1 मिनट के अंदर कितनी देरी से मुझे 1 मिनट में सवाल कितने सॉर्ट आउट करने हैं. प्रिपरेशन के लिए टाइम मैनेजमेंट आपका डेली रूटीन आपके हिसाब से बनेगा. आप कितना सेल्फ स्टडी कर रहे हैं, कितना आप क्लासेस में पढ़ रहे हैं और उसको कितना प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, दैट इज़ ठीक है. वो आपने करा एग्ज़ाम से पहले. जनरली 8 to 10 आवर्स करते हैं, बट नथिंग इज़ फिक्स्ड. मैं अगर 4 घंटे में 8 घंटे की फोकस स्टडी कर सकता हूँ तो ये मेरी कैपेसिटी है, मेरी एबिलिटी है, ठीक है. उसके बाद मैं 2 घंटे बचाता हूँ, मैं अपने ऑनलाइन क्लासेस में जाके सीख भी लेता हूँ. उसके बाद आके मैं उसका रिवीजन भी कर लेता हूँ. उसके बाद मैं आके 1 घंटा प्रैक्टिस सेशन कर लेता हूँ, क्वेश्चन आंसर सॉल्व करता हूँ और उसके बाद मैं थोड़ा रिलैक्स होता हूँ. तो दिस इज़ माई रूटीन. आपको अपना रूटीन अपने हिसाब से डेवलप करना है. दिस इज़ योर टाइम मैनेजमेंट. एवरीबडी हैज़ इट्स स्पेसिफिक टाइम मैनेजमेंट. व्हेन यू आर अपियरिंग इन अ प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन, जैसे वह सर ने भी बोला कि आप क्वेश्चन पेपर को एक बार खोल के देखोगे कि आपको कौन सी चीज़ें पहले सॉर्ट आउट करनी है, कौन सा आंसर पहले करना है. जब आप प्रिलिमिनरी में जा रहे हो, आप ये देख रहे हो कि 120 सवाल हैं, और आपके पास 2 घंटे का टाइम है, 150 सवाल हैं और आपके पास 2 घंटे का टाइम है, तो अकॉर्डिंगली आपके पास एक सवाल को करने के लिए 1 मिनट भी पूरा नहीं है। तो आपको टाइम मैनेजमेंट उसी हिसाब से कम करना है, मतलब कम टाइम के अंदर, कुछ सेकंड्स के अंदर एक आंसर को सॉर्ट आउट करना है। और जैसा उबेद सर ने कहा, एक क्वेश्चन को लेकर आपको स्टिक नहीं रहना। अगर आप स्टिक रह गए तो पूरा पेपर नहीं सॉल्व कर पाओगे। व्हेन देयर इज़ नेगेटिव मार्किंग, फिर तो कन्फ्यूजन है, तो बढ़ जाइए सर आगे। So all these important tips and tricks are really helpful when you are appearing in the exams. ठीक है, अब इसको डिटेल में डिस्कशन करने के लिए ऑब्वियसली इट्स अ वेरी शॉर्ट स्पैन ऑफ टाइम, जिसमें हम सारी चीज़ें डिस्कस नहीं कर सकते, बट जो चीज़ें यहाँ पर डिस्कस करी हैं रजत सर ने, उबेद सर ने, दैट इज़ वंडरफुल एंड इट इज़ रियली ग्रेट कि उन लोगों ने इतने कम टाइम के अंदर सारी चीज़ें सम अप कर ली और आपके सामने प्रस्तुत करी हैं वो। एंड with this I just want to announce 2 more things apart from this session. See, we are going to conduct our judicial services classes. We are going to begin online judicial services classes, जिसका जो सितंबर के सेकेंड वीक के बाद हम लोग स्टार्ट करेंगे। इसके बारे में आप अपना फीडबैक हमें फीडबैक फॉर्म में दे सकते हैं। एंड मैं सानी जी से रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा कि वो फीडबैक फॉर्म का लिंक एक बार फिर से चैट बॉक्स में डाल दें। Sanidhi, please put it in the chat box once again for the students and aspirants. Apart from that, in this judicial services classes, we'll take up each and every subject which are common. Okay. Apart from that, अगर कोई specific requirement आती है तो वो आप हमें suggest करिएगा और अपनी queries भी आप हमें email कर सकते हैं @prakulan@gmail.com. Okay. इसके अलावा हमारा एक दूसरा webinar होने जा रहा है, that is related to family divorce, practical aspects of divorce under Hindu Marriage Act. In that webinar, we are going to take up few more things, जिसके बारे में थोड़ा सा डिटेल में आपको मिस्टर नवनीत यहाँ पर डिस्कस करेंगे। एंड विद दैट नवनीत, आप पहले एक बार डिस्कस करो।
बेसिकली इट्स अ प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ डाइवोर्स लॉ अंडर हिंदू लॉ, डाइवोर्स मैटर्स अंडर हिंदू लॉ, जिसमें जो पर्टिकुलर न्यूआंसेस होते हैं डाइवोर्स लॉज के, काउंसलिंग, केस फाइंडिंग, मैटर फाइंडिंग, कैसे केसेस को बिल्ड करते हैं। देखो, सबसे बड़ी इश्यूज क्या होती हैं, जब हमने प्रैक्टिस किया, कोई भी इस तरह के केसेस में प्रैक्टिस करता है, उसे मोरलेस हर केस एक जैसा लगता है। बट डाइवोर्स लॉ का सबसे बड़ा क्यू पार्ट क्या है, सिमिलर केसेस भी होते हुए जजमेंट डिफरेंट आते हैं, तो वो कैसे हम क्रैक करेंगे, हम कैसे उस केस को लीड करेंगे कि नेचर सिमिलर है, एक जैसा फैक्ट्स भी होगा पर जजमेंट डिफर कर जाता है, क्योंकि क्रूअलिटी एम्बेड इतना ही बड़ी है। अब जैसे वाइफ के अगेंस्ट अगर कोई केस फाइल करता है, उसके पास लिमिटेड अपॉर्चुनिटी होती है। तो ड्यूरिंग दिस वेबिनार वी कैन डिस्कस अबाउट द प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट, को रिलेट करेंगे हम लॉज को प्रैक्टिकलिटी के साथ, और फिर हम उसको बताएंगे कि क्रैक किया कैसे जाता है। तो जितने भी स्टूडेंट या यंग फ्रेशर हैं जो लॉ प्रैक्टिस में आ रहे हैं या आने वाले हैं, या जो भी लॉ स्टूडेंट हैं जो इंटरेस्टेड हैं अपने लॉ को प्रैक्टिकलिटी के साथ कनेक्ट करने के लिए, दैट विल बी वेरी हेल्पफुल। तो ये अपकमिंग डेट्स जो आप बताओगे उसमें हमारा इसी एस्पेक्ट में ये वेबिनार आएगा। हाँ, अभी इसमें अगर ऐड कुछ करना चाहो तो बताओ।
That's it. Just wanted to add just that we are going to start a workshop right after this webinar. उसके लिंक्स आपको 16th को मिल जाएंगे और फीडबैक फॉर्म के लिंक्स हमने ओपन कर दिए, जो आप एक हफ्ते के अंदर हमें प्लीज़ भेजिए अपने फीडबैक्स। एंड with this note, I would like to conclude the session and give a vote of thanks to our worthy speakers, Mr. Rajat Bansal and Mr. Ubaid sir. थैंक यू सो मच। आप लोग आए और यहाँ पर बच्चों को, एस्पिरेंट्स को, हम लोग को इतना अच्छा आपने सेशन कंडक्ट किया, उनको इंसाइट्स दिए, क्वेश्चंस के बारे में डिस्कस किया, और हम लोग उम्मीद करते हैं कि आगे भी इस तरह के कुछ सेशन होंगे और डिटेल सेशंस में, क्लासेस में या कहीं पर भी आप लोग के इंसाइट्स हमको मिलते रहेंगे, बच्चों को ब्लेसिंग्स मिलती रहेंगी। थैंक यू सो मच सर। योर वॉइस इज म्यूटेड, काइंडली।
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us the opportunity to represent ourselves and to take your time and to take time of this Prakulun learn. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abhishek ji. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thanks to the participant for listening us so patiently. And we'll definitely be in touch with you. Anything we can do for you, no issues about it.
Thank you so
Any
much.
help we can do, no issues. Thank you very much for inviting us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. And with this note, I would also like to thank our co-founders, Mr. Navneet Kumar and Mr. Avnav Saxena, and the entire team of Pracolan, the IT cell, जिन्होंने ये चीज़ संभव कराई हमारे लिए. And I'm really thankful to Sanidhi Bush for coordinating this wonderful session in a very fluent and smooth way. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody.
Thank you.
आप सारे
Thank
participants
you.
को धन्यवाद. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.